When we hear the word immune system, most of us think of it as a shield, a defense force, something that stands guard and attacks when invaders come in, bacteria, viruses, pathogens. And yes, on one level, that's true, but that view is also deeply incomplete. The immune system is not just a defense mechanism, it's a living intelligence. It's not some robotic army waiting for orders. It's dynamic. It learns, it adapts, it remembers, and perhaps most importantly, it listens to everything, to what you eat, how you sleep, how you feel, what you think. Every part of your daily life is in conversation with this system. And whether you realize it or not, your immune system is constantly interpreting those signals and adjusting itself in real time. That means the way you live is either reinforcing your immunity or quietly eroding it. Let's think of it this way. Your immune system is less like a wall and more like a well-trained orchestra. It has many sections. White blood cells, cytokines, antibodies, lymphatic flow. And when these elements are in harmony, your body responds to threats with precision, efficiency, and balance. But when the conductor, the body's internal signals, is overwhelmed, confused, or chaotic, the entire orchestra starts to misfire. Notes are missed. Timing breaks down, and what should be a symphony of protection becomes a jarring cacophony of inflammation, fatigue, and susceptibility. Now, this is where the conversation becomes more meaningful, because if your immune system is intelligent, then the way to boost it isn't through brute force. It's through teaching, through alignment, through daily choices that help it learn what wellness looks like. And here's where it gets even more profound. Your immune system doesn't just defend your body, it reflects your internal world. If you're chronically stressed, your immune function declines. If you're emotionally disconnected, inflammation rises. If you're mentally exhausted, physically depleted, nutritionally malnourished, your immune system knows. It responds accordingly. It's not trying to betray you. It's adapting to what it believes is your new normal. So when we talk about boosting immunity naturally, we're not looking for a quick fix or a miracle herb. We're talking about re-educating this system, rebuilding trust with your own biology. That starts with awareness. It starts with understanding that your immune health is not just something you have, it's something you cultivate. Think about how often we treat immunity as a seasonal concern. Cold and flu season arrives, and suddenly we scramble. Vitamin C, zinc, elderberry, teas. But the immune system doesn't work on a seasonal switch. It operates based on long-term consistency. It doesn't respond to panic, it responds to patterns. The question to ask yourself isn't just what do I do when I feel sick? It's what kind of relationship have I built with my body all year long? That's what your immune system reflects back to you. Your daily patterns of rest, nourishment, thought, movement, and stillness, they all shape the intelligence of this system. And this is why the immune system is also a teacher. When it becomes overactive, triggering allergies, autoimmunity, or chronic inflammation, it's not being irrational. It's signaling imbalance. It's telling you something in your lifestyle, environment, or emotional world needs attention. Are you listening? Because here's the truth. Your immune system is constantly trying to keep you alive. It is working in the background every second of your life, clearing mutated cells, neutralizing pathogens, repairing tissue. You don't feel it until it's struggling, but when you support it, when you nourish it with sleep, with movement, with clean food and emotional clarity, it doesn't just function, it flourishes. We've made the mistake of thinking of health as luck. But immunity is not luck. It's the result of alignment. And your body is always rooting for you. Your immune system wants to protect you, but you have to give it what it needs to do that job well. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. You don't need to fear germs. You need to focus on internal strength. And you don't need to wait for illness to begin healing. The most powerful time to support your immune system is before you get sick. That's when your real immunity is built, not in crisis, but in prevention. So take a moment and ask yourself honestly, is my immune system working with clarity? Am I giving it the right instructions? Am I sending it the right signals? Because when you begin to see your immune system not as a passive protector, but as an intelligent, responsive partner in your health, everything shifts. You begin to respect your body's signals. You start to notice the way your thoughts affect your cells. And suddenly, boosting immunity becomes less about doing more and more about living in alignment with the body you already have. Because real immunity is not about fighting harder, it's about listening deeper. And the better you listen, the stronger you become. If your immune system is intelligent, and we've established that it is, then the next logical question is, how do we best nourish that intelligence? And the answer, quite literally, starts on your plate. Food is more than fuel, it's information. It speaks a biochemical language your immune system understands instantly. Every bite you take sends a message. Some foods say, calm the inflammation. Others scream, sound the alarm. And this is happening not just over weeks or months, but in real time. What you eat at lunch can influence how well your body fights off a virus that night. Let's talk about inflammation for a moment because it sits at the very center of this conversation. Inflammation in short bursts is a good thing. It's how your body responds to injury, pathogens, even exercise. But when it becomes chronic, when your body is stuck in low-grade alert mode, it begins to damage tissue, wear down defenses, and confuse immune signals. And much of that chronic inflammation comes from what we eat every single day. Highly processed foods, refined sugars, artificial additives, and unhealthy fats act like fuel to the fire. They overstimulate the immune system, exhaust its response, and create an internal environment where invaders can thrive. It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. The system can't find its balance when it's constantly bombarded by toxicity disguised as food. But just as the wrong foods weaken immunity, the right foods restore it. To think of antioxidants. These are your immune system's cleanup crew. Found in foods like blueberries, kale, beets, and green tea, antioxidants help neutralize the oxidative stress that wears down your immune defenses. They protect your cells, support healing, and even enhance the ability of white blood cells to fight off pathogens. And then there are the anti-inflammatory heroes, turmeric, ginger, garlic, olive oil. These foods don't just taste good, they actively reduce inflammatory markers in the blood. They help the immune system return to baseline, to balance, to clarity. And when the system is clear, it responds quickly, intelligently, and effectively. But if there's one place where immunity truly begins, it's in the gut. Your gut isn't just a digestive tube, it's a massive immune organ. In fact, more than 70% of your immune system lives there. The gut is your immune system's first point of contact with the outside world. It's constantly analyzing what comes in, food, microbes, chemicals, and deciding whether to tolerate or attack. That decision sets the tone for your whole body's immune response. And here's where things get even more interesting. The balance of bacteria in your gut, your microbiome, directly affects your immunity. A diverse, healthy microbiome supports strong, calm immunity, but a damaged or imbalanced gut microbiome leads to inflammation, autoimmunity, and vulnerability to infection. How do you support this microbiome? You feed it real food. Fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi introduce healthy bacteria. Prebiotic foods like garlic, onions, leeks, and bananas feed those bacteria. Fiber from fruits, vegetables, and legumes keeps the gut lining healthy and the immune system engaged but not overactive. Hydration also matters more than most people realize. Your lymphatic system, which carries immune cells throughout the body, relies on water to function. Your gut relies on it for digestion and detoxification. Even mild dehydration can impair your body's ability to eliminate waste and regulate inflammation. So we circle back to the original idea. Food as medicine, not as restriction, not as obsession, but as empowerment. Because every time you choose a meal that supports your immune system, you're investing in your future, you're building resilience from the inside out. And here's the beautiful truth. Your body wants to heal. It wants to be in balance. It just needs your help to get there. But there's also something deeper going on here, something psychological. Food is emotional, it's cultural, it's tied to identity and memory. And when we eat with stress, guilt, or disconnection, that experience affects not only our digestion, but our immune state. So it's not just what you eat, it's how you eat. Eat slowly, eat mindfully, be present with your food. Your immune system senses that too. The immune system, after all, doesn't just respond to nutrients, it responds to messages. And when food is a message of care, nourishment, and respect, your body hears that. So this is your opportunity. Not to follow a trend, not to obsess over perfection, but to return to the wisdom you already know. Food is not separate from your immunity. It is your immunity. The strength you're looking for doesn't start in a bottle, it starts in your kitchen. Because in the end, the strongest immune system is not built by chance, it's built by choice. Bite by bite, day by day, and your body is listening. One of the most overlooked, yet most powerful natural ways to strengthen your immune system is also the most ancient. Sleep. Not supplements, not smoothies, sleep. Because sleep isn't just rest, it's regulation. It's where your immune system does its most intelligent, delicate, and decisive work. When you fall asleep, your conscious mind quiets, but your immune system wakes up. It's during sleep that your body shifts into repair mode. Immune cells are redistributed, inflammation is modulated, and healing processes that don't get attention during the busyness of the day are prioritized. Cytokines, those tiny proteins that signal your immune system to respond to infections and injuries, are produced more during deep sleep. And when you're sleep deprived, the production of these cytokines drops dramatically. So your defense system isn't just tired, it's out of sync. People often talk about fighting off a cold, but very few realize that the ability to do so hinges more on your recovery state than your active one. And recovery only happens when sleep is deep, consistent, and respected. Your body is brilliantly designed for cycles, circadian rhythms that rise and fall with the sun. And when you violate that rhythm, when you push too late, wake too early, or sleep too little, you're not just feeling tired, it's suppressing immunity. Let's pause there, because that's not just science, it's philosophy. Think about what it means that your immune system heals best when you surrender, not when you push, not when you try harder, but when you let go. It's a powerful reminder that some of the most essential parts of healing are passive, quiet, receptive. In a world that glorifies hustle and productivity, sleep teaches you the opposite. Sometimes doing nothing is the most productive thing you can do. Now consider what happens when you miss that. Chronic sleep deprivation doesn't just make you groggy, it activates stress pathways in your body. Cortisol stays elevated, inflammation rises, your immune response weakens, you become more vulnerable to everything from the common cold to more serious chronic illnesses. Your T cells, the soldiers of your immune system, don't function as effectively. Your natural killer cells, which detect virus-infected or cancerous cells, become sluggish. You're not just tired, you're exposed. And what's worse is that modern life treats sleep as optional. Something we'll catch on later, but sleep doesn't work that way. You can't store it, you can't bank it, and when you skip it, the cost is invisible at first, but it's very real. You may not see the impact immediately, but over time, the wear and tear on your immune system becomes unavoidable. So how do we return to what sleep is meant to be? Not a luxury, not a burden, but a biological priority. It starts with rhythm. Your body loves rhythm. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. That consistency reinforces your internal clock and improves the quality of your sleep, not just the quantity. Then there's light. You need light in the morning. Real, natural light. That exposure helps reset your circadian rhythm and tells your body it's time to be alert. But in the evening, light becomes the enemy. Blue light from phones, TVs, tablets. It tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime and delays melatonin production. That's why so many people lie in bed exhausted but unable to sleep. Their brain hasn't been given permission to shut down. And let's not forget about what you do before bed. The 60 minutes before sleep are a transition zone. Use that time wisely. No caffeine, no intense stimulation. Create rituals that signal to your body that rest is coming. A warm bath, gentle stretching, reading, herbal teas, dim lights. These are not just comforts. They are neurobiological cues that guide your system into parasympathetic mode where healing and sleep are possible. But beyond all this science, there's something more important to recognize, something psychological. Your relationship with sleep mirrors your relationship with self-trust. When you prioritize sleep, you send a message to your body that you are worthy of rest, that you don't have to earn it through exhaustion or productivity, that health is not built in burnout but in balance. And the immune system listens to that message. It listens when you slow down, when you breathe deeply, when you close your eyes, not just because you're exhausted, but because you're ready to care for yourself. Sleep becomes an act of self-respect. So ask yourself this: are you letting your body do its most sacred work, or are you interrupting its healing because of late night habits and modern noise? The immune system doesn't need us to do more. It needs us to stop long enough so it can do what it's designed to do. Because the master switch for immunity isn't found in a pill. It's found in the moment you choose to rest fully and freely. Sleep isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Let your body remember that. One of the most overlooked yet most powerful natural ways to strengthen your immune system is also the most ancient: sleep. Not supplements, not smoothies. Sleep. Because sleep isn't just rest, it's regulation. It's where your immune system does its most intelligent, delicate, and decisive work. And when you fall asleep, your conscious mind quiets, but your immune system wakes up. It's during sleep that your body shifts into repair mode. Immune cells are redistributed, inflammation is modulated, and healing processes that don't get attention during the busyness of the day are prioritized. Cytokines, those tiny proteins that signal your immune system to respond to infections and injuries, are produced more during deep sleep. And when you're sleep deprived, the production of these cytokines drops dramatically. So your defense system isn't just tired, it's out of sync. People often talk about fighting off a cold, but very few realize that the ability to do so hinges more on your recovery state than your active one. And recovery only happens when sleep is deep, consistent, and respected. Your body is brilliantly designed for cycles, circadian rhythms that rise and fall with the sun. And when you violate that rhythm, when you push too late, wake too early, or sleep too little, you're not just feeling tired, you're suppressing immunity. Let's pause there, because that's not just science, it's philosophy. Think about what it means that your immune system heals best when you surrender. Not when you push, not when you try harder, but when you let go. It's a powerful reminder that some of the most essential parts of healing are passive, quiet, receptive. In a world that glorifies hustle and productivity, sleep teaches you the opposite. Sometimes doing nothing is the most productive thing you can do. Now consider what happens when you miss that. Chronic sleep deprivation doesn't just make you groggy, it activates stress pathways in your body. Cortisol stays elevated, inflammation rises, your immune response weakens, you become more vulnerable to everything, from the common cold to more serious chronic illnesses. Your T cells, the soldiers of your immune system, don't function as effectively. Your natural killer cells, which detect virus-infected or cancer cells, become sluggish. You're not just tired, you're exposed. And what's worse is that modern life treats sleep as optional, something we'll catch up on later. But sleep doesn't work that way. You can't store it, you can't bank it, and when you skip it, the cost is invisible at first, but it's very real. You may not see the impact immediately, but over time, the wear and tear on your immune system becomes unavoidable. So how do we return to what sleep is meant to be? Not a luxury, not a burden, but a biological priority. It starts with rhythm. Your body loves rhythm. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. That consistency reinforces your internal clock and improves the quality of your sleep, not just the quantity. Then there's light. You need light in the morning, real, natural light. That exposure helps reset your circadian rhythm and tells your body it's time to be alert. But in the evening, light becomes the enemy. Blue light from phones, TVs, tablets, it tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime and delays melatonin production. That's why so many people lie in bed exhausted but unable to sleep. Their brain hasn't been given permission to shut down. And let's not forget about what you do before bed. The 60 minutes before sleep are a transition zone. Use that time wisely. No caffeine, no intense stimulation. Create rituals that signal to your body that rest is coming. A warm bath, gentle stretching, reading, herbal teas, dimmed lights. These are not just comforts. They are neurobiological cues that guide your system into parasympathetic mode where healing and sleep are possible. But beyond all this science, there's something more important to recognize, something psychological. Your relationship with sleep mirrors your relationship with self-trust. When you prioritize sleep, you send a message to your body that you are worthy of rest, that you don't have to earn it through exhaustion or productivity, that health is not built in burnout, but in balance. And the immune system listens to that message. It listens when you slow down, when you breathe deeply, when you close your eyes, not just because you're exhausted, but because you're ready to care for yourself. Sleep becomes an act of self-respect. So ask yourself this: are you letting your body do its most sacred work, or are you interrupting its healing because of late night habits and modern noise? The immune system doesn't need us to do more. It needs us to stop long enough so it can do what it's designed to do. Because the master switch for immunity isn't found in a pill, it's found in the moment you choose to rest fully and freely. Sleep isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Let your body remember that. You can eat the right foods, get sunlight, and even sleep well. But if you're living in a constant state of mental unrest, your immune system will still struggle. Because stress, especially chronic stress, doesn't just affect your mood, it rewrites your biology. Most people think of stress as emotional, something that happens in your head, but your immune system doesn't see it that way. To your body, stress is a chemical command. It's a message to prepare for threat, to shift resources, to shut down long-term healing in favor of short-term survival. And it responds exactly as it's built to, by elevating cortisol, tightening blood vessels, and suppressing immune defenses. Now, short bursts of stress aren't the enemy. In fact, acute stress can actually enhance immune response temporarily, like how your body becomes hyper alert during a fever. But when that stress becomes chronic, when there's no resolution, no reset, your immune system begins to pay a quiet, heavy price. Cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, is like an internal fire alarm. It's helpful when there's a real emergency, but if it's blaring all day, every day, it starts to numb the body's sensitivity. Over time, elevated cortisol levels shrink the thymus gland, suppress white blood cell production, and weaken the very defenses your body relies on to protect itself. It disrupts sleep, impairs digestion, destabilizes blood sugar, and inflames your gut, all of which are directly tied to immune health. So if you've been doing everything right, eating well, exercising, sleeping, but still getting sick often or still feeling run down, the real issue might not be physical. It might be emotional. It might be unresolved stress. But let's not oversimplify stress as just relax. That's not how healing works. You don't illuminate stress by pretending it's not there. You calm the system by helping it feel safe again. That's what true immunity requires. Safety, a nervous system that feels anchored, not alert. And here's the deeper truth. Stress is not just about circumstances. It's about perception. Two people can face the same external pressure, financial uncertainty, relationship struggles, work demands, and have completely different immune responses. Why? Because it's not just what happens to you, it's how you interpret it, how you carry it, whether or not you give yourself space to feel it and let it move through. That's why practices like deep breathing, meditation, gratitude work. They're not just nice ideas. They reprogram your nervous system. They signal to the brain that the threat is past, even if the challenge hasn't. They tell the immune system, we're safe now. You can return to repair mode. And once the body feels safe, it stops using energy for defense and starts using it for healing. Even 5 minutes of intentional breathing a day lowers cortisol. A few moments of silence, of mindfulness, can calm your heart rate, lower blood pressure, and shift your body into the parasympathetic state, the state where the immune system thrives. This is not philosophy, this is physiology. And let's be honest, in today's world, stress is the norm. We glorify being busy. We wear burnout like a badge. But immunity doesn't care how full your calendar is. It cares how full your cup is. You can't pour from an empty vessel. And your immune system cannot protect you if all it's doing is managing crisis after crisis, especially the kind that lives in your mind. So how do you strengthen your immunity through calm? You get honest with yourself. Where are you holding tension that doesn't belong to you? Where are you carrying the weight of fear or the burden of constant productivity? When did you last sit still? Not to check out, but to check in. Calm doesn't mean escaping life. It means returning to yourself. It means listening deeply, choosing your inputs, protecting your peace as fiercely as you protect your health, because those things are your health. This is where philosophy meets biology. Your immune system listens to your beliefs. If you believe the world is unsafe, if you constantly tell yourself you're not enough, your biology listens. Your cells don't just hear your words, they feel your state. But the moment you shift, even slightly, into trust, into acceptance, into presence, your biology responds with grace. Your immune system softens, gets stronger, not through force, but through flow. So yes, stress weakens and calm strengthens, not in theory, but in measurable biological fact. But the most empowering part, calm is not something you wait for, it's something you create. Even in chaos, you can create stillness. Even in uncertainty, you can create grounding. And when you do, your immune system will thank you, not just with better defense, but with deeper vitality, sharper clarity, and more energy than you thought possible. Because in the end, immunity is not just a matter of protection, it's a reflection of how deeply and how consistently you return to calm. Choose it. Breathe into it. Your body is listening. When we think about boosting immunity, movement might not be the first thing that comes to mind. We tend to compartmentalize health. Food is for energy, sleep is for recovery, and exercise is for weight or cardiovascular strength. But in truth, movement, conscious, consistent, balanced movement is one of the most direct ways to enhance your immune function. Your body was designed to move. Your lymphatic system, which is critical for immune surveillance and detoxification, has no central pump like your heart. It relies entirely on muscular contractions and deep breathing to circulate lymph fluid and carry immune cells throughout the body. In other words, your immune cells need you to move in order to move. Stillness, when prolonged, stagnates them. Motion activates them. But here's where the conversation becomes more interesting and more nuanced, because not all movement is helpful. Some of it, especially when done excessively or under stress, can actually weaken immunity. Overtraining elevates cortisol, breaks down muscle, and causes microscopic inflammation that takes longer to repair than we realize. It can leave the body more vulnerable rather than resilient. So we're not just talking about more movement, we're talking about the right kind of movement at the right intensity for the right reasons. Moderate, consistent physical activity like walking, stretching, swimming, dancing, cycling stimulates the production and circulation of white blood cells. It enhances the activity of natural killer cells, which are essential for identifying infected or abnormal cells. It improves insulin sensitivity, reduces chronic inflammation, and supports sleep, all of which are tightly connected to immune regulation. Now, this is where psychology enters the picture, because how you approach movement matters as much as the movement itself. Are you exercising because you love your body or because you're punishing it? Are you moving to feel alive or just to meet a number on a smartwatch? The immune system listens to intention. When movement becomes rigid, harsh, or obsessive, it shifts the body into stress. And we've already learned what chronic stress does to immunity. But when movement becomes joyful, playful, connected, it restores, it energizes, it reminds the body of its strength and the mind of its capacity. That's when immunity rises, not just because of the chemical reactions, but because of the emotional alignment. You feel better not just in your lungs or muscles, but in your spirit. And that change ripples down to your cells. Some of the most immune supportive cultures in the world don't work out in the way we do. They move throughout the day. They walk, they garden, they stretch in the morning. They carry groceries or water with rhythm and presence. Their lives are structured around movement, not segmented by it. They don't spend 10 hours sitting and then 1 hour forcing motion. Their motion is life, and their immunity reflects that. You don't have to become a marathon runner to improve your immune health. You just have to move often, move wisely, and move with intention. If you've been sedentary, start with 5 minutes. Then build. Let it become natural. Let it become ritual. Let it become an act of kindness to your body. And here's the deeper truth. Movement reconnects you with your body in a way few things can. In our digital sedentary lives, we often live from the neck up, lost in thought, disconnected from breath, numb to sensation. Movement brings you back. It grounds you. It reminds you that your body is not just a vehicle, it's your home. And when you live in your body fully, your immune system functions more clearly. It's as if the whole organism aligns again. So if you're looking to boost your immunity naturally, don't just focus on what you ingest, focus on how you inhabit your body. Let your muscles stretch, let your blood circulate, let your lungs expand. These are signals to your immune system that you are alive, alert, engaged, and ready to thrive. And again, balance is key. You don't need intensity, you need consistency. You don't need to prove anything, you need to feel everything. That's how you build sustainable, supportive movement. Movement that doesn't drain but renews. So as you move through your day, ask yourself, how am I honoring my body's design? Am I flowing or freezing? Am I giving my immune system the movement it needs to work for me, not just once in a while, but every day? Because true immunity isn't built in the gym or measured in sweat. It's built in the quiet rhythm of movement, done with purpose, done with care, and done with presence. Let your body move. Your immune system will move with it. Let's talk about something we've increasingly forgotten in our hyper-connected, indoor-centered world, the healing intelligence of nature. Your body is not separate from the earth, it's part of it. And your immune system, like everything else in your biology, responds to natural elements in profound, measurable ways. Sunlight, fresh air, soil, trees, water, these are not poetic details, they are biological necessities. Let's begin with something as simple as sunlight. Just 15 to 30 minutes of exposure to natural sunlight each day can significantly boost your body's production of vitamin D. And vitamin D is not just a nutrient, it's a hormone with direct regulatory effects on immune function. It enhances the pathogen-fighting effects of monocytes and macrophages, two key types of white blood cells. It also decreases inflammation, which is at the root of nearly every chronic illness. Now, here's the truth most people don't hear. Vitamin D deficiency is one of the most widespread and undiagnosed conditions in the modern world, especially among people who work indoors, wear sunscreen constantly, or live in polluted urban areas. And the consequence isn't just weaker bones, it's a confused immune system, one that overreacts when it shouldn't and underperforms when it must protect. But sunlight does more than produce vitamin D. It helps regulate your circadian rhythm, which we know governs your sleep-wake cycles. And as we discussed earlier, deep, regular sleep is a cornerstone of immune health. Sunlight in the morning tells your brain, wake up, reset the clock, produce energy, prepare to heal. Without that cue, your body lives in a kind of biological confusion. Then there's the air we breathe. Indoor environments often recycle stale air filled with dust, microbes, and artificial particles. Outdoor air, especially in natural green spaces, is charged with negative ions. These ions help reduce airborne allergens and can improve mood, energy levels, and even immune activity. When you step outside and breathe deeply in a forest, by the ocean, or in a park, your body knows it. Your nervous system relaxes, cortisol lowers, inflammation drops, white blood cells circulate more efficiently. All right? Vitamins do. And perhaps most powerfully, nature offers something more subtle, but no less essential: psychological regulation. You see, nature doesn't rush. It doesn't stress. It exists in rhythm, in flow, in presence. And when we reconnect with it, we return to those same qualities within ourselves. Our heart rate slows, our mind settles, our breathing deepens. These are not just relaxing sensations, they are biological shifts that directly affect how our immune system behaves. There's even a term for this: forest bathing. It comes from the Japanese practice of Shinrin-yoku, spending intentional, mindful time among trees. Clinical studies show that even 2 hours of forest exposure can increase natural killer cell activity, enhance anti-cancer proteins, and lower blood pressure. That's not philosophy, that's immunology in action. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you disconnected from devices, deadlines, digital distractions, and simply let your body merge with the rhythms of the natural world? We've created environments so artificial, so removed from our origins, that the body no longer feels at home. And yet, within minutes of being in nature, your biology begins to remember. The forgotten vitamins then aren't just physical, they're emotional. They are stillness, silence, sunlight, space. These are things we don't buy in bottles, but find in moments of reconnection. When you walk barefoot on grass, or feel the sun on your skin, or listen to the wind through trees, your cells receive that information as safety. And safety allows the immune system to turn off its alarm system and begin repairing. We must stop thinking of nature as something optional, an escape from real life. It is real life. It is our original medicine. It's what kept humans alive for thousands of years, before pharmaceuticals, before labs, before screens. And though science has advanced, our biology hasn't changed. We still need what we were designed to respond to. You don't need a wilderness retreat to activate this wisdom. Just step outside. Feel the sunlight. Take a walk. Let the natural world recalibrate your nervous system. Let it restore your rhythm. You'll find that many of the things we try to supplement, energy, mood, clarity, immunity, begin to return. And more than that, nature humbles you. It reminds you that you're not just a brain walking around. You're a body, a system, a living, breathing organism that depends on other living things. The trees, the soil, the sky, they're not background. They're part of your immunity too. So yes, food matters, sleep matters, movement matters, but none of these can fully support your immune system if you're disconnected from the very environment that shaped it. And the good news is waiting every morning outside your door, free, constant healing. Because sometimes the most powerful immune support isn't what you add, it's what you return to. Reconnect with the earth and you'll rediscover your strength. Your body remembers. Let it lead you back.